Hi, welcome to today's session with Tegrous Consulting. My name is Jarrett Donaldson and I'm a consultant here on the team. And in today's session demonstration, what we're going to do is show you how to use the Master Data Cleanup Wizard. And this is a tool that's very useful in certain circumstances, not used often, but it's important to know that it's there and how to use it when the time does show up. And so when it's useful is for master data like business partner master data or item master data. If you have a record that you want to delete, you can come into the record, and as long as it hasn't been any transactions posted against it, you can come in here and delete it. You can right click and then select remove business partner, and you can do this one by one for each business partner. If you already have transactions posted against it, it won't let you allow you to delete it for auditing trails and whatnot, but you can make it inactive. So you can come down here and inactivate it. And you can do this one by one. So if you've created a mistake or made a customer on accident and need to delete it, you can simply do this, and it's very quick and easy. However, where the Master Data Cleanup Wizard comes in handy is, let's say that you did an import through DTW or Data Transfer Workbench and you imported 10,000 customers, and all of a sudden you realize you made a mistake and you got to delete all of them. You do not want to go in one by one and delete each and every one of these. That would take days upon days to do. And so there's a tool, and it's up here under Administration, Utilities, Master Data Cleanup Wizard, that allow you to do a deletion of master data records or change them to inactive all at once. And so before we do that, the most important thing is you need to take a backup of your database before you do this. And it will require you to do that before you get in there or while you're in there. If you haven't, it will remind you. But I always recommend that before you even click in the window and open it up, do your backup. Because once you do this and click in here, it's going to require that everyone's disconnected from the database. And when they try to log in, it will tell them that you're in the middle of a cleanup, and it won't allow them to access in. And I've seen cases before where someone did a backup while they were in the middle of using this module, and then they made a mistake and had to refresh their database, and they tried to log back in, and it still was locking people out because it thought that people were still in the process of the cleanup. So it's very important, make sure you do your backup of the database before you even click into this module. So I'm going to pull up SQL Management, Server Management Studio, and do just a very basic backup of my database. So here's my databases. I'm going to right click on the database, just the SAP's basic demo database, go to Tasks, and then Backup. And it's going to pull up a little window here with all the information of what I want. So yeah, I want it to be a full database and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And then you can go ahead and say you're saving it to your disk tape. We're going to put it to the disk, how it's going to expire. And then we're going to give it the location of where we want to save it to. So here's the file path, and then we'll call it SBO Demo US, and we'll call it underscore and give it today's date. And there's going to be our backup file. So click OK. Once you're satisfied with everything for the backup, go ahead and let it run. Mine will go fairly quickly because my database is small. Yours may take longer depending on how large your database is. But if it was successful, I'll let you know, hey, it was successful. We're good to go. So we're satisfied here. And then we're going to go ahead and minimize this. And you want to close out of it, but I'll show you why. I'm going to try to show you an error here if I can, and how to resolve it. But if you go into now to the Master Data Cleanup Wizard, it's going to be just a normal wizard with steps. It's going to let you know, say, hey, FYI, this is irreversible, so know that. But you can go through, say, I want to load. If you had a saved cleanup run, you can load a saved one, or you can start a new. Usually you'll always start a new because this isn't a process you'll do regularly. It's usually every now and then kind of a tool. So we'll create a new one. It's going to let us know that all connected add-ons are going to be closed, and then so we say yes, we know that. And then we're going to give it a name, and if you hadn't done a backup, it would give you a warning message right here that you haven't done a backup. But you can give it a name for later if you want to save it, and tell it what kind of master data you're cleaning up. So we're going to do business partners, and we're going to remove it. If vice versa, you can do deactivate it or delete the content, or vice versa. We're going to just remove it. And note that you can't do anything different with this tool than what you could do in person one by one with each record. So if you couldn't delete it before, one by one, you can't delete it here. It's not going to be magical and do something you can't do. So it can only do what you are allowed to do in person. But we'll go ahead and click next, and this is now going to let us know what kind of business partners we want to clean up. So you can use a couple of filters here or whatever you want to do to bring that up. So you can do a range. I'll do a range for now since all mine are in order. We're going to do W1000 and then all the way to W, I think 1005. Or you could do a business partner type, a customer group, a vendor group, and even come in here to business partner properties. So you could create a business partner property, called delete, and then check all the business partners you want to delete and pull it up here. So a lot of areas that you can do to select it. Once you're satisfied, click on search. It'll bring them all down here, and if you had extras that you didn't want to select, you could select them one by one, or bring them back. I like all of these. I'm going to click the all button, but if you wanted to bring one back, you could click it, bring it back, or bring all of them back, or vice versa. Then once you're satisfied, click next, and it's going to let you know a list of all the ones you had, and it's going to tell you what action it's going to take. So if you tried to remove it and you can't remove it, it's going to tell you, hey, no, sorry, you can't do that. We're just going to deactivate it. But it'll give you a list of everything you can do. You can still unselect ones you don't want to happen here if you'd like. But once you're satisfied, you'll click next. And then it's going to tell you, do you want to save this and run it later, or do you just want to execute it now? For our purposes, we'll execute it now, but you can save it and run it later. And it'll get to this screen, and it's tricky because you think it's doing something right now when you're first there, but you actually have to click next again and for it to actually start working. Then it will go, and it will tell you, mine was really quick, but yours may take longer. There was a total of 6 that I'd selected. 6 were removed, so we were perfectly fine there, and it worked. And then it tells me congratulations, all was done. So I'll go ahead and do finish. Let's go back to the business partner master data screen and see if they actually got deleted. And if we go back to the last record, sure enough, it's not showing me those W's anymore. It's going to the V's in alphabetical order. So we successfully deleted those business partners. So that concludes the demonstration today. Very basics of how to use it, but you can get more advanced. And please take a look at our other videos for more information on tips and tricks for using SAP Business One.